the blanket strategy. Buy new launch, sell TOP, sure make money. So we're going to look into chapter 3 right now. They're going to talk about you. Okay, how are all these things going to affect you? So more importantly, as you have seen this chart before, which I'm going to go through one more time, as you learn on the main masterclass, relocating our existing assets for new urban planning are very long-term plan. Things like the Paya Lebar Air Base, the Greater Southern Waterfront, that will take almost 2 decades to complete. But even so, we can draw small milestones in between for exits. Okay, and developing of new township and business center. That's where we are saying Bidadari New Township, Punggol Digital District, Bayshore New Town, Kampong Bugis, Kallang Riverside, Jurong Innovation District, and Tengah New Town, and how these exit strategies will help. And the dark blue ones actually shows the newer exit that has happened given the new initiative. And last but not least, the rejuvenating of existing infrastructure for extensive urban planning. We see Jurong Lake District, Changi East Region, Novena Health City, Woodland Regional Centre, Ophir Rochor Corridor, Beauty World Integrated Transport Hub, Rail Corridor, and the Dover Knowledge District, together with One North. So the third one, what we see is very different. We are seeing mature estate, they are going through a further extension of its current blueprint. Okay, so what we have shared today actually will affect these new exit strategies. So what's so important is that many people do not know that these exit strategies are fluid. So whenever government introduces new plan and all these things, we create a new milestone. So it's ever changing. So to touch on Punggol Digital District, why we have phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1, of course, is the digital district enclave itself being completed. Phase 2, 2029, we see phase 1 of the Cross Island Line completed, and this will give the Riviera train station and interchange, right? And of course, the 2 developments that I mentioned just now that were enjoying from it. And then 2040, as remember, part of the Paya Lebar Air Base will be relocated, Punggol being one of the areas that height restriction will be lifted. In 2040 will be the next so-called milestone. For the Bayshore town as well, it's part of the Marine Parade Plan. So height restricted being lifted, we will also see in 2040 this happening to Bayshore town as well. So for Jurong Lake District 1 2032, because of phase 2 of the Cross Island Line, we will see that train station called Jurong Lake District being completed. And for the Ophir Rochor Corridor in year 2025, what we are seeing is the entire gateway from Ophir to also Rochor. What we are seeing is Midtown Modern, Midtown Bay, together with the existing South Beach residences, dual residences, and the refurbishment of Shaw Tower to form another exciting area in this precinct. Of course, not forgetting the M as well along Middle Road. And finally, in the Beauty World Integrated Transport Hub, also with the phase 2 of the Cross Island Line, okay, and that is happening in year 2032. So over here, we want to debunk the myth, okay, and the blanket strategy that you hear a lot on the sales floor is that buy new launch, sell at TOP, sure make money. How many of you has heard this tagline so many times? If you have heard, just type me in the chat group. Where does this theory come from? I have no idea, and I've never said this before, but I heard many people say this on the sales floor. Okay, so over here, I want to debunk this myth because I've been hearing a lot of these so-called metaphor on the ground, and we want to see that does it really happen? Okay, so in this instance, we'll be touching on this particular development that I'm going to show on the screen right now. It's called Panorama. I think this development needs no mention because I've mentioned it countless of times. At the same time, due to the recent launches that happened in the last 2 months, you will also heard about this development that many salespersons use it as an example. So again, it was launched in year 2014, and its launch price was 1,343 per square foot. And back then, just to share, developer actually adjusted their pricing due to slow sales, okay, in 2014. And it's within 188 meters of CHIJ St. Nicholas Girls School. One of the key fundamentals that I shared on my masterclass, we need to stay near a 1 km of a reputable primary school if you are buying something that's 3 beta and bigger. Next, that Mayflower train station, something within walking distance, not more than 800 meters, part of the Thomson East Coast Line, and just fully operational. And not buying the last plot of land. So the next plot of land was 850 meters apart. And you will know why this is called AMO residences, right? So in this instance, in this chart itself, in the left axis, we see PSF, in bottom axis is the year 2014 from January to November's transaction chart. So light blue is the new sales, okay, and there's zero sub-sale and resale in this point in time. So when the TEL or the Thomson East Coast Line was announced, prices actually shoot up by about 4.3%. And when you say shoot up by 4.3%, we are using from its initial drop price and then raise upwards. So 1294 PSF in August and then 1303 in September. And over here, we take a deep dive into the years as well. Okay, so right now, we are not looking at the month, we are looking at the year right now. And what we see, okay, how many of you would think that, again, like I mentioned just now, sell at TOP, make money? Okay, so if you say yes, I'm going to show you what happens. The development TOP in 2017, and at 2017, its price tag was only 1234 per square foot. And at that point in time, a lot of people are giving so-called very, very false hope on they are very sad about entering Panorama back then. Okay, they say that, hey, I hold for 4 years and it's still 1,200 plus PSF for me. Okay, but what happened next? If you look at year 2021, government actually released the land tender, not just one but two, but of course the other one is in Tampines, Tengah, sorry. The next one, the one that we are talking about is Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1, and this was released in November 2020. Effectively, the tender was closed in May 2021, the following year, and we see the land cost to be bidded as high as $1,118 per square foot with 15 bidders. This then translates to eventually launching. Okay, so the land tender, when it was closed in July 2021, we see Panorama prices went up to 1,484 per square foot or even 1,470 per square foot in that 2 months. Okay, and effectively, when AMO Residences was launched in year 2022, 98% of it was sold on the day of launch and at a price tag of almost $2,300 per square foot. We see another level high that created Panorama prices to go up to $1,700 per square foot. And this is important because many people actually think that selling at TOP will make you the money. But what's so important here is you follow the urban transformation fundamentals to apply your exit. Buying something is always easy, right? The problem here is when it comes to selling. Many people do not know, should I be holding it for rental or should I be selling it at TOP? And many people will have the short runway to sell at TOP because they hear sales agent on the sales floor telling selling at TOP will sure make you make money. They will end up selling at break-even because we've seen properties in Panorama that were transacted during TOP at that 1,200 plus per square foot. Okay, and that's very sad because if they were to hold on just another 3-4 more years, their life would have changed tremendously. So, next thing, what you want to know is that if you sold during TOP, you will make a loss, 8.1%, 2.7%, okay, or annualized growth of 2.7%. And then if you sold when the government land tender was bidded, you will make about 10% or annualized growth of 1.5%. But if you sold when AMO launched just over the next 12 months, we see a capital gain of 30.5% or an annualized growth of 3.8%. And just 12 months difference, we see 20% difference between the land tender and the launch of AMO. Okay, so how many of you feel that this is very important and insightful? If you feel so, just type exit in the chat group because exit is what really makes you the money. Because if you have bought in and just sell a TOP, which is the blanket strategy, you will end up cursing and swearing like new launch cannot make money one. Okay, that's not the truth. It's about having the right exit. Okay, so be very intentional about understanding when and how you're going to sell it. Because many consumers on the sales floor are just buying in blindly without knowing when they're going to sell the place. Okay, this will give you a very clear roadmap on how long you can hold your cash flow because you're going to be projecting the rental that's coming in as well. And also the exit timeline. Will it affect your future planning? Are you going to use that money for another property for your children? Are you going to use that money for another property for matrimonial home, etc., etc.? Because it's very common right now that parents use children's name, right? We want to give the children a timestamp. What if they get married and they're going to buy their own home? Okay, we're going to be, oh, my property still haven't made money. Son, you just got to hold on for a while until we see some light at the end of the tunnel, then we release your name for you to buy a matrimonial home again. Okay, does it make sense, right? So this is very important that we get the timeline horizon to be lined up together, especially so you have that next so-called goal that you want to achieve beyond the first 3-5 years of the first investment.